Hi everyone, Steve here from My Crypto World. Today is July the 10th, and today we're going to be looking at the market, what's happened over the last week or 10 days. We're also going to go through a review of the coins that we hold in our portfolio and what those charts currently look like. We'll go through some coin spot news, and we'll also cover off some new Theta news as well right after this. Okay, so what we're looking at now is the total market cap as it stands for this week. So it's been about 10 days since I did my last video, just that I've been very busy with a few other projects that I'm involved in and haven't gotten around to doing another one for a while now. So let's do a quick recap. So as we know, we hit a resistance level probably around about, probably close to 14 days ago now. The resistance level is highlighted by the purple line. It's a resistance level for a number of reasons, but probably the main one is way back here, back in January 2021. At that time, when this peak was made, that was its all-time high. And what the total market cap has done now is basically gone up and then come back down and rested or bounced off that same price target. So really that becomes a very strong resistance line or support line for the total crypto market. In my last review, I did mention that we're out of the previous cycle that just started to kick off, and that we were really just waiting to see where things were going to be going. Ultimately, though, we wanted to see a high broken in the last third of that cycle. So we're nearly into the last third of the cycle. What we've seen happen since then, though, is that the market has moved up quite nicely, very strongly through this period here. But then it hit a target of 1.48 trillion. Came away from that and then it came back up to, again, that same target price. The exact price total there, if we just have to highlight that and look at the high, was $1.485 trillion. It fell away for a couple of days, came back up and then hit exactly the same high, which is $1.485 trillion. So based on that, of what has happened here and the fact that we've moved away from that level of resistance since, my prediction is for the rest of this cycle we'll probably either see a sideways movement or possibly we will see this low at 1.13 trillion tested again. So I would expect the market to move in a downward projection or a sideways movement now rather than breaking through that high. Now, this does not mean that we're in a bear market at all. What it simply means is that we're going through an accumulation phase. It's really a waiting game. I've described this in my last 2 or 3 videos. It's really just, you've just got to wear it out and wait and see what happens. I don't think we're in a bear market. I still think there are so many projects at the moment that have got good signals, solid growth behind them, and really good projects. But we're just in this phase of the market where this sort of things happens, and once you've lived through a few of these in your lifetime, it becomes the norm. It just, you know what to expect and when to expect it. Because that previous high, that purple bar we've got there, the resistance line was so significant, and it really was to the dollar. I don't feel that the market will break below that. I just think it's going to be a little bit of time before the market does take off again now. That might be the next cycle or the cycle after that. So the next 31 days or possibly the 31 days after that. At some time though, certainly in the second half of this year, which we've just entered, being July, I would expect the market to start making some stronger moves upwards than what it has done for the last several months. Now, what's really interesting is when you look at some charts of other stocks. So this is the chart we're looking at the moment, is the total market cap. But let's have a look at some of the other stocks very quickly. Sorry, I keep saying stocks, but I do refer to cryptos. Prior to trading cryptos, I was very heavily involved in stocks, and it's kind of a habit that I haven't been able to break by saying stocks when I do mean cryptos. So let's have a look at Bitcoin versus the US dollar. And what I'm trying to emphasize here is the shape or the direction of the flow. So the shape of the chart and the direction that the markets tend to be moving. So you can see here Bitcoin, probably the biggest and well-known, the best-known crypto in the marketplace. really moving along this resistance line here, or this support line at 33,774. Now this is significant because it matches a resistance area or bandwidth over this side as well. So it's sort of resting there comfortably. Not a bad thing or a good thing, but when you compare that to Zilliqa, now let's have a look at some of these cryptos and see how they compare to other cryptos. So just look at the pattern that this has made, that Zilliqa is currently in at the moment on the market. Now let's have a look at that and compare that same shape to Ethereum. Kind of similar. Let's now look at XRP, which is Ripple. Very similar to Zilliqa. Let's go back to Zilliqa. Just remember the pattern you're seeing now. Zilliqa, XRP. So that's really interesting that so many cryptos are following the same pattern at the moment. Let's go to Holochain. Very similar. Link, so Chainlink. Very similar. Polkadot. Polkadot and Link look almost identical. Digibyte, very similar again. Stellar and Digibyte almost look identical completely, even to the point of this sort of like arch that's happening down here at the moment. That's Digibyte. Let's go back to Stellar. Same pattern is there as well. And again, if you look at where the market's sitting, it's sitting around about what are we on now? Stellar, sorry, XLM. It's 0.2435. And it's right along this resistance line here that happened way back in the start of 2021. So we're seeing a lot of cryptos just resting on previous support lines, which is a very positive sign. And I feel strongly that the market is still bullish. Again, I'll just say it, I can't say it enough. The market is taking a breather at the moment. This is Bitcoin Cash, Ontology, Matic or Polygon. Now Tfuel, Cardano are two different stocks. They're really sort of moving in their own pace at the moment. They're not really following a market direction. So that's very, very interesting. Tfuel obviously has become very popular with the amount of staking that's going on. I think for when I last looked, Theta was over 60% staked, and Tfuel at the moment I think is 30-something% staked. So a lot of interest in the Tfuel and the Theta applications as well. Now, I know I keep saying I'm a fan of Theta, but I got this in the mail today, which is going onto my car next week. My new Theta number plates for my car, which is awesome. Unfortunately, somebody had already grabbed the word Theta and a few other combinations out there. So there's a couple of people in Victoria, Australia that will be driving around with plates similar to these, but they'll be going on my car next week. Not saying I'm a fan, but I do love what they're doing, and the management of the Theta network is just incredible. They're really they're real game changers and strategy thinkers. So I can't promote them enough because they're just, I think it's really going to go very well for Theta in the future. If you have a look at some of the comments on YouTube, if you're on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter as well. There's a link in the description below. There are people out there saying that Theta will go, my prediction was around about anywhere between $50 and $80 by the end of the year. There are a lot of people who are cleverer than me and smarter in this sense that's saying that that's just the beginning. Theta should be $150 to $500 before the end of the year, and possibly $1,000 or more in the next 2 to 3 years. So if you understand what they're doing with their technology, and I'll talk about a patent they've just launched again, another one in a minute, but they're doing some great things behind that. But all in all, really what we're looking at here is, if you have a look at, as again, just to recap, Zilliqa, Ethereum, XRP, Holo, Link, Polkadot, all are following very similar patterns in the marketplace, and are still all really good coins, but they look all the same. It's going to take a while before these coins find their own individuality and break away from the standard or movement of what Bitcoin might be going through at the moment. That will come with time. Could be 18 months, could be 5 years, just depending on the projects that each one's doing. But at some point they will get their own life, and they will be able to move in a direction separate to the market. That's what happens in the stock market. We know that Typically, when the stock market is falling, there are always going to be stocks that move up through that downward period. When the stock market's moving sideways, there'll always be stocks that move up or down and don't go against the norm. The same thing will apply here as the crypto market matures and becomes older. And again, so we go back to the total market cap at the moment. This is where we're sitting. Again, I don't think it's a bearish market. I do think we're in a bull run, but we're just having a breather. It's like running a marathon and getting ready for the next marathon. You need to sort of rest for a couple of weeks, in this case, a couple of months, maybe even 6 months before ready to pursue another marathon run. But I do think in the later half of this year, we will start to see things happen, which is good. What else did I want to cover off today? So a couple of bits of news from CoinSpot. Let's go over to CoinSpot. So for those that trade in Australia, most people are trading through CoinSpot as far as I'm aware. The great thing about CoinSpot is that they actually give you highlights of what's happening in the market on a regular basis. So this week, the Bitcoin Mining Council came out and stated that the global Bitcoin mining industry now uses 56% sustainable energy. Now, this is really positive because even people who are pro-Bitcoin were bagging Bitcoin for the amount of energy they were using to mine the coin. So you can see here that has now started to change. Whoever the miners were obviously have gotten onto this and cottoned onto it and are now working towards more sustainable energy. So it just states that Bitcoin mining uses a negligible amount of energy, is rapidly becoming more efficient, and is powered by a higher mix of sustainable energy than any other major country or any other major industry. So very, very positive news for Bitcoin itself. Down below that, talking about Ethereum, which is the second largest coin we have in the market at the moment. Analysts expect payouts will be more than double to $20 billion when Ethereum completes its transition of from proof of work to proof of stake next year, and to double again by 40 billion by 2025. So that's very positive news if you're an Ethereum holder or if you believe in that project, which is terrific. And finally, analysts expect Bitcoin mining to become 30% more profitable in the short term. So that's really positive if you're a trader and you're not a long-term investor. If you're looking to trade and get into Bitcoin and then get back out again, short-term viability looks very positive for you. And again, you can just read a little bit more about that there, but this is due to a complex situation where miners are facing in mainland China, according to certain people out in the marketplace who are probably closer to the news than you or I will ever be. Now, just quickly to Theta news. Theta have been awarded their 5th patent. Now, this is incredible news, to be honest with you. When they've got their 3rd patent, I thought, my God, these people are on fire. Now they've come out with their 4th and now subsequently their 5th patent. And you can read all about this. I'll try to remember to leave a link in the description below regarding that. But essentially it's saying here that there's the approval number. Theta Labs have just released patent application for approval. Gives you all the application details. And this is really for preventing denial of service attacks in the decentralized edge networks using variable delay functions or VDFs. In the link, I won't go through this entire article. We could be talking about this for hours, but essentially if you want to read it, it's worth a great read. Not only does it describe how they're going to ward off the attacks of hackers and intruders onto their Theta network, they actually give you a description of how it looks. So if you're not somebody who's good at reading stuff or trying to visualize what they mean in all the text that they're talking about in the description, you can just have a quick look at the figures and see how it works. They've got a figure here for client attacks in client server networks. They've also got a good one here to describe how the VDFs will defend against attack in edge node networks as well. So really positive stuff from Theta. As you know, I am a fan, and I think they've got a long way to go yet. Now, during next week, I'm going to be uploading a special calculator that I've put together with a very close person to me, and I'll describe a little bit more about that during next week. But it is going to be an announcement of a dollar cost averaging calculator. Now, most calculators that I've come across online don't work that well for dollar cost averaging. They assume one of two things. They assume that you're going to be putting in the same amount of money every week or month, or that you're going to be buying the same number of shares every week or month. And that's not the way I invest. So I invest what I can when I can. Sometimes the dollar value that I invest in is more than what it was previously. Sometimes it's less. And sometimes I'm buying less crypto coins or more crypto coins. It just depends. But I've put together a calculator which will give you a true dollar cost average for those that are interested in that. So that'll come out sometime next week. I'm just ironing out some bugs at the moment. That's it for this video. If you really like my content, could you please just give it a like or a thumbs up? It really helps Google and YouTube know that this content is relevant. Really important for the channel, which I would appreciate a lot. In the description below, you can now buy me a beer if you're interested. Just go to buymeacoffee.com/mycryptoworld. Again, the link is in the description. If you want to see more of my articles, you're welcome to follow me on Twitter. And again, the link is in the description below. Thanks very much. We will talk to you again next week. Take care.